Hello Scorpio, just doing a Valentine's reading. So we're going to look at the relationship Scorpios first, so those of you who are involved. See what's going on in the run up to Valentine's Day, and then we'll have a look at the singles after that. So first card's out for Scorpio, for those in relationships. So you've got the Hierophant and the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Hierophant for me is all about learning and doing the right thing and connecting with your higher self. So I feel like some of you you need to start listening a little bit more to your partner. You need to start focusing on things together, on learning together and growing together. Maybe someone else is trying to offer you advice because you see you've got these two down here listening to someone. So maybe for some of you, in your relationship, you need to listen to each other. You need to maybe see a counsellor. I think maybe it's time to offer some advice and do it together rather than necessarily going off separately and talking to your friends. And because I think most people will seek advice from those around them, but I think for some of you guys, you probably need to get to someone who's professional, or just have someone mediate between the two of you together, so you've both got time to actually hear what the other person's saying and actually listen. Because I think it's very easy to say something in a way that you feel is clear, but there's that saying of I'm only responsible for what I say, not for what you hear. Maybe that your partner isn't listening or isn't understanding what you're saying. Sorry, not listening. Not listening. They're listening, but they're not understanding you. And I think sometimes if you talk through a third party, I think, people can make things clear, or, it might be that you have someone, and this is again why professionals are professionals, because they have a way of translating what you're saying into a way that your partner can understand. Maybe it's time within your relationship to have a look at the 5 love languages, and see which language you speak, which language your partner speaks, so you can work through it. However, it's not all doom and gloom, because you've got the 3 of Pentacles, so there's definitely work to be done. There's definitely some architecture coming into place. There's definitely some plans being made to get your relationship to the next level. So it could be, for some of you, you take that advice, you take that learning, and you get to go to the next level. You get to start putting things in place. You're moving up to a 4 of Pentacles, so it's slow progress, but it is still progress nonetheless. This 3 to the 4 is lovely because you're putting the plans in place, and then you can take time out to sit and regroup and refocus on what it is that you want. Celebrate the achievements you've made. And yes, it's a little bit stagnant, because I always feel with this 4 of Pentacles, the torch is down on the floor, so he's kind of put it down. He's not ready to go. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. He's just going to sit, regroup, recount what's going on. But coupled with this is really good, because actually part of this is regrouping. In order to learn the lessons, you have to stop. You have to stop trying to move through, to stop and actually refocus and learn. Otherwise, we keep making the same mistakes. We've also got the Justice in reverse. So I feel, if you pair these two together, I feel like the lesson here is that, the Hierophant is all about teachings. Justice is also a way of teaching, but the scales are broken right now. And I think this feeds back into those of you who are not listening, not understanding your partner, and whose partner isn't understanding you. It's putting things out of balance. It's keeping things from getting on the right path, getting to this 3 of Pentacles. And I think the only way to get through that, to flip the Justice round, it could be that you're dealing with a Libra, who's not focusing on you and is turning away and isn't understanding you. Maybe if you're with a Libra, I hate to lay blame, because whenever you point the finger, 3 are pointing back at you and all the rest of it. But I think you need to get that flipped to the other way around, and the only way you'll do that is by listening to each other. But then you have got the Queen of Cups, so there is definitely love there. And I always feel the Queen of Cups is very much about self-love. But I think if you do this work, if you do this listening, the learning, the mediation, seeing things from another person's perspective, from your other half's perspective, then you get to that Queen of Cups level. You get to the sharing of love, the full cup, the equal flow. So it isn't all doom and gloom. I know that probably sounded a little bit harsh. And also your bottom of the deck, you've got the Knight of Wands. So the movement is there, the movement is ready. The plans need to be put into action. So singles, let's have a look for single Scorpios, please. See what's going on for singles. Oh, that one's going to be a tough one to get from under the table. Okay, so you've got the decisions. 2 of Swords. So for you singles out there, it's time to decide, firstly, whether you want to be single still or not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I know a lot of people who are single and incredibly happy with where they are and would rather be single than be in a bad relationship. Fully support that. I definitely get into that phase quite a bit. But you've also got the Seven of Cups. So I feel like the decision needs to be made and it's a little bit confused. Sorry, bear with me one sec. Where did that card go? There it is, okay. So as I was saying, you've got a Seven of Cups. So there's some confusion there about this decision. So I feel for some of you, you've got to put the decision, you've got to work through this confusion, weigh up the options and then decide. Because it's in your best interest not to stay in this indecisive stage of your life. You've also got the Eight of Pentacles. So there's definitely some work to be done for you guys. And maybe that's where maybe the decision is to do the work. It's to do the work on yourself. It's to do the work on building your foundations, building your fortune. You know, maybe you feel that you don't have the money right now to be dating. You don't have, you know, the investment. You don't have the work-life balance sorted. You know, you're very heavily focused on the work. And the decision is actually maybe it's time to take a step back and give yourself time to enjoy life and to be happy and to get out and to meet people. But you have got the Lovers card. Which has come up a lot today. And it isn't, you know, it isn't necessarily a divine love, but it is love nonetheless. So I think this, you know, while you stay in this indecisive, you're keeping yourself away from this, Scorpio. And sometimes I feel this is a codependent situation. So it could be that your decision needs to be to step away from being codependent. But I think still it's love. And I'm not supporting codependent relationships because we know they can obviously be not great for you. But I think having someone's hand to hold through the dark times is really, really important. I think that is coming in for you, which is great. But you have also got the Four of Cups in the disappointment view. So I think the decisions that you've got to make could be very confusing, and that's what's keeping you feeling disappointed. I feel like if you don't make this decision, you're going to stay in that mode, stay in that confusion, and stay in that disappointment if you don't start making the decisions. And if you don't put the work in, you don't get to the love. So I think mostly, Scorpio, the advice is that it's crunch time. It's time to take the blindfold off. Time to see things for what they are and make the decisions to start the movement. Any final advice to Scorpio, please? Any final advice to Scorpio? No, she didn't come out. So you've got the Five of Wands. Any more coming out? One more shuffle? Okay. That's interesting. So you nearly have the Queen of Wands out and the King of Wands came out. So you've got the Five of Wands with the King of Wands. So my final advice would be for this is know what it is that you're fighting for, but don't focus too much on it. Because the longer you keep fighting, the more you're not in the flow, the more you don't let things go, you don't let the universe take control, you don't let your higher power sort things out for you, the more you try and stay in control, the more you end up fighting it. So don't worry too much, Scorpio. Everything's in hand. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely Valentine's Day and I will see you soon.